practice in Paddington in Brisbane, near where I was living. And I bought a ticket in Powerball and actually won the second division and went from going in, got a year's salary virtually, a year's tax-free salary. And I had given up a highly paid job to be a GP, and I was working for I was offered the job by my GP. He was a pretty mean sort of fellow. And he said, well, look, I'm not going to give you anything, you just come, start your practice and we'll see how you go. Anyway, because I had all these vast amount of funds, I invested some of it in doing a nutritional medicine course, because I really believed, even at that stage, that food was the heart of health. That if people ate right, they'd be a lot more healthy. A bit blind at that stage, because it was very hard to get that message through. But anyway, I did that course and became very interested in nutritional medicine.
Yeah. So that was sort of foundational to your thinking about health and wellness?
Yes.
Yeah. Great. And then tell us about, you know, I think your health journey, your diagnosis came before the ASEA or the other way around?
No. I actually was introduced to ASEA by Belinda actually, and she looked me up on the internet and thought, this doctor sounds like she might be interested. So she actually came to visit as a, you know, like a
patient.
A drug rep.
Drug rep.
Not a drug rep, but you know, a representative as she, and introduced it to me, and I did take it up, didn't I? I thought, I'll give this a go, and I started off just taking, you know, twice a day, often forgetting the second one, but you know, having some every day right from the start. And then going forward 18 months to April, May last year, I started to feel just tired. Didn't have any other symptoms at all. I just was losing energy. And when I got to the stage, I've been living at Natural Bridge, where we have a mountain on the back of the property, and I used to walk up there every weekend, sit up there, cross on the hill, and just go up and sit there for a while. And got to the stage I just couldn't do it, and I thought, there's something wrong. So I had a fellow who was working with me, and I said to him, you know, I think I need to get some tests done. So I just got a blood count, and it was mainly a blood count, and a serum iron. And it came back that I was very anemic and totally iron deficient. And I thought, that's odd. I haven't noticed any blood anywhere. I've been bleeding or losing blood, past all the women's stuff. Anyway, I got myself into a gastroenterologist fairly quickly for a colonoscopy, I thought. Anyway, when I went into the hospital, he said to me just before they put me under, he said, I think we might look at both ends because you're anemic and we don't know why. And then when I came out from the procedure, he just tells me straight off, well, you've got duodenal adenocarcinoma. And then he left. And then I'm lying there half zonked. And thought, what? Anyway, I got him back. I said, I need to talk to you. I'm more awake now. What did you say I had? Anyway, that was it. I fairly quickly got onto a surgeon, and he explained to me that because it seemed to be localised, he said you've got a good chance of recovering from the operation. So I finished up having a pretty major operation. The whip was proceded in June last year. Yeah. And at that operation there was a small tumour, which was an ulcer, which was bleeding, and that's obviously where the blood came from. And of course, when it comes in the upper part of the bowel, by the time it gets to the end, it's not like, you know, you couldn't even test it. I'd had a test 3 months beforehand, and it didn't look bloody, no dark stools or anything like that. So anyway, I went ahead and he said, but we only do this surgery if we think it's going to be curative. Right. Now, what I did that time when I went into hospital, because I wasn't completely convinced of just how powerful ASEA was, I was taking it, was I arranged to take masses of vitamin C into hospital, and my doctor agreed to let me do it. He said, providing you provide it. I went to the pharmacy and I had 90 grams of vitamin C for the first 3 days after the operation, and 45 grams every day for 4 weeks. And I think I had some ASEA in hospital with me. I can't remember.
You had a lot of Renew. That's why I came to visit.
Oh, that's right. You came in, yes, and I started applying the gel to my stomach as soon as I could get at it. Once the dressings were off and all that sort of thing. So
I brought you spray bottle and you were spraying your throat because it was dry?
Yes, that's right. So I don't think I was actually taking a lot of it.
No, you couldn't at first.
I couldn't anyway. I couldn't take anything orally, that's right, because I was on drip for 4 weeks. So that was, certainly the vitamin C was all right. Anyway, I just, without going on too much about that, when I got back to work, and I was pushed back to work fairly early, I had a naturopath came to see me. He was a colleague of the other doctor that was working with us, and he went through my history and everything, and he said, when I told him what the result of the surgery was and what the pathology showed and so forth, he said, do you know, he said, vitamin C and ASEA have saved your life. And he knew about ASEA as well, so he knew how important that was, and that actually sort of encouraged me to be much more regular with it and so forth. And because he said, and I knew, because I'm being a doctor myself, I got onto the internet and looked in the books and things to see, well, why didn't I know I had this? And mostly it doesn't present, when it presents with either jaundice, that is the gallbladder's blocked off, or you get diabetes because the pancreas gets blocked off, or you know, the bowel gets blocked or something really nasty happens, and all I was tired. Anyway, I got through that very well, and 3 months later, after the operation, I had complete clearance. And the doctor said to me, you could have chemotherapy, and I said, well, I've actually had chemotherapy, because we know that vitamin C can deal with circulating cells. So I figured if there were only 2 cells in the sample, which took a lot of lymph nodes out, they only found 2 with any cells in it. I thought if there were any lymph nodes in that, the vitamin C would do its trick. Well, 3 months later I had scans and everything, and there was nothing. I had this lovely book that told me about the diet, so I changed my diet, I gave up sugar. Sugar, everybody, is poison. That's you know, processed sugar, white sugar. None of it's sugar. You eat it if you want to be well. Anyway, I did all that, and I had this book that described everything that I needed to do. Then I had a severe period of stress. October, November, I think it was. Yeah, it was October, after a wellness weekend, and into December. And then in December or January, I went back to the doctor. He did another scan, and there was a spot on the liver. And I thought, one thing this book said, and this is another important issue, is that if you lose your cool, you know, and you stop being calm, manage your mind or manage the stress, then everything else you do is a waste of time. I don't think that really applies to massive doses of ASEA, but all the dietary stuff and everything else you do is a waste of time. Anyway, I fortunately had a very good oncologist. He didn't believe in putting everybody on the full regime straight away. So I had a bit of time. No, I had intra-arterial radiotherapy to this lesion on the right, and then following up after that a little bit later, there was a tiny one on the left as well. So I had intra-arterial chemotherapy on that one. And then the pity was, after that episode, about 3 or 4 days later, I had a fall at home, fell on the bathroom floor, and finished up with my liver being ruptured and getting an abscess. And so forth. So I was very sick for a while. That's when I started really hitting the ASEA. I was taking 4 2s are 8 ounces a day, so half a bottle a day. And I kept that up quite a while. And then I started, when I got back home, and started taking it every 2 hours. I think you told me, suggested I try that. And that was good, actually. So I'd have 2 ounces every 2 hours. So I had a bag I carried around with me, and my phone went off with a little get up and dance message every 2 hours. From 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Anyway, that was good. And I did get back to health. Pretty quickly. But when I got the second problem, that was, oh sorry, I missed out a bit. I had a PICC line in for which I was having vitamin C in, and that got infected. I nearly died with that because I nearly didn't go and see the doctor, but thank God I did. God doesn't want me yet. I'm still alive. But yeah, so that was the one that I had to work hard on getting myself better after. But after the abscess one, I was a bit delayed going into hospital because my children were coming to visit me. And something happened at home, and that was what made me decide to not come back after the operation, but go to my friend's place in Brisbane.
Yeah.
And that's where I've been since then. And I still take 6 ounces of ASEA a day, so 3 doses a day. And use a lot of Renew 28. That's fantastic stuff.
So, Margaret, so that's a fair bit about where you've been on your health journey, right? So, can you just tell me then, in deciding to take additional doses of the ASEA liquid in particular, and rub plenty of gel on your body, what was the immediate effect? Like, what were some of the immediate changes that you could see for yourself? Not changes that we know are going on in the body, but what did you start to experience that had you in a zone where you went, okay, I can feel like this is really working for me now?
Well, certainly the Renew 28 and the using ASEA, as per my instructor over here, I felt it making a difference very quickly. I mean, the dry throat and all that, and particularly when because I had 4 weeks of gastric stasis with the operation, I couldn't take anything orally. That's why I couldn't take the oral dose. But even just using the Renew 28 on my body, and I rub it up and down my arms too, and particularly
all around this area,
all over here, it certainly helped a lot. Just because this is a big thing I've been through, and so it's not like I suddenly get the jump up from it. I've actually had more, like I've been on the ASEA continuously since then, so I kind of don't know anything different from not taking it. I wouldn't dare not to, because I understand how it works, and I think it's very important. I know it's very important. Once you start, you shouldn't stop. It's just something that the body can use all the time. I've had the rapid progression since getting on these other products. I got some sauce, that started to make me feel more energetic straight away, and now the Life Max, boy.
Now, how old are you, Margaret? How old are you?
I'm 74.
Yeah. Okay, good. So can you tell everybody then, in your, I know you come from a medical background, but I know you're also very good explaining things in layman's terms. Are you able to explain to everybody how you would explain to somebody how these redox molecules actually work? Can you just give us a general explanation?
Well, I think my simplest explanation of it is that we're actually, all of the universe and ourselves as well are just bundles of energy contained in a body. Even the skin is just, if you take a molecule, like we're made up of billions of molecules, the genetics of our body, the genes, which are the sort of brains of our development, helps to design how the body's formed, but the functioning of the body is an energetic process. So cells contain little balls of energy within the cells called mitochondria. And when you look at the physiology of these cells, they are literally just a bundle of oxidation and reduction reactions. So we normally have both oxidation and reduction going on in our bodies, and if you look at, having looked at the biochemistry and how all these circles go around, it's electron on, electron off, electron on, electron off. What life does with stress is it stimulates the formation of a lot of oxidative stress molecules, which is it's like the oxidation process or the rusting process. You think of oxidation being like what happens when you put iron in water, it rusts. Well, our body rusts technically. So these molecules cause things not to function. And the whole balance of the process goes out of kilter. ASEA is a simple product which they've been clever enough to turn salt and water into these activated molecules that actually provide the energy to keep those little mitochondria working at full strength. Now that's basic to every life process. If parts of our body get injured and these things don't work, then they become malfunctioning. That's why I believe ASEA will just about help anything, because all of our body is dependent on the same basic process. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So it's, if anybody ever says to you, oh, it's just salt and water, I said, well, what a good thing. Because we actually are made up of a lot of salt and water. If we had no water in our body and no salt in our body, we'd be dead. Dried up like an old prune. So there's no difference in that being made out of salt and water. It just happens that the scientists, and if you want to look at the science, it's pretty complex, and I haven't completely got my head around it, but they've managed to turn this salt and water into these molecules which go directly into the body to then make these little engines, the little mitochondria, work properly. And that's fundamental to good health. When we're born, everything functions well, unless you've got, I mean, there are obviously lots of, there are cases where things go wrong even in early times. But most children are born as healthy, blooming little bodies. Everything's working 100%. Why do we get old? Why do we age? It's not only the imbalance of the oxidative process, it's also a genetic malfunction. ASEA's getting on top of that too. So those things are the things that cause our skin to age, our bones to get thin, our arteries to become blocked, all those things that cause old age or age disease. I mean, one thing people keep on asking me is, do you have any other problems apart from your cancer? I say, diabetes? No. Heart disease? No. Blood pressure? No. You know, because the rest of my body functions 100%.
So, Margaret, you know, like...
So is the rest, actually. I'm better from that too.
But, so you've just explained about the redox and how it obviously works and impacts. So, you know, a question that people say to me is this: well, I haven't got cancer like you did, or I haven't got abnormal cells, or I haven't got anything going on. I'm pretty healthy. Why would I take
My
it?
question would be, if they're over the age of 25, is how do you know? Because we know that with these degenerative processes that happen, that cancer cells are forming all the time. If you've got a good, this is the thing, they are forming all the time. If you've got a good metabolic system, and your oxidation and reduction processes are going on, supported by something like ASEA, those cancer cells can't get established. Great. So my situation was, my tumour was found before it had spread to the rest of my body, because I believe that the ASEA plus vitamin C were all stopping that from happening. And I should have been dead by now. The life expectancy for people with urothelial cancer is 18 months to 3 years. Well, I'm 18 months, or a bit over 18 months now. I could have been dead by now. So, for somebody who says, oh, I'm perfectly all right, if they're over 40, that's what you say. Your body's breaking down in little bits all the time. You don't notice it at the moment. You're feeling really well. Look, some people, some rare people have got some sort of genetic makeup that just makes them invincible. But most of us don't. So,
and sometimes people are under the illusion that they're bulletproof, aren't they?
Correct.
And then when it hits, they go, this has come, like for you even, just the feeling of tiredness, no other real symptoms to put your finger on.
No.
And, you know, similar for me. And you know, by then it was already well and truly established.
Yeah, yes, exactly. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And I remember a certain person saying to me, and I said, I'm just tired. I said, I think I need a holiday. I said, no, you just need more vitamin C.
So now, when somebody says, well, maybe vitamin C or more vitamins will help me,
well,
I won't take the ASEA, I'll do that first.
Well, you want to start doing your sums, for one thing.
Yeah.
if you want to look at pure cost,
Yeah.
I think a case of ASEA a month is a lot cheaper than a lot of vitamins. And I think this is fundamentally it goes right to the core. You can put a supplement in, it will do some of what it says it can do. And I think vitamin C has been around for a long time. It's a very powerful agent, and I think everybody should, well, you know, a lot of the disease we have in the modern age can be helped by vitamin C. But I think we've just got a more powerful agent here. And if you want to cover yourself with enough vitamin C, it's the same. And it's harder to take. A lot of people don't like taking the tablets, or you know, burns the stomach and does this sort of thing. It's not an easy thing to take, whereas this is a snack. And I think it's more powerful.
And what about the fact that the molecules are safe?
Oh, absolutely. So there's no toxicity with this. None at all. Whereas you can it's pretty hard to overdose yourself with vitamin C too, but it can certainly cause symptoms if you do take a lot. Whereas I've not experienced any, and I was taking massive doses, and I've never read in any of the reports of anybody the reactions people get to ASEA is not the ASEA, it's the detoxification that occurs in the body. Once you start these processes working, if the body's been used to having a whole lot of dysfunction there, which you kind of got used to, the ASEA will knock that around. So some people get what is it?
They'll get some reaction.
They get a reaction.
And others have no reaction.
No,
I mean, 90% of people don't have reactions.
No, that's right. So those reactions are just ones that can be managed by reducing the dose for a while and letting the body get used to it and then keep it going. But I think you've got to start with the full acceptance of the fact that it's totally safe.
Yeah.
It's what your body is doing in response to giving it the energy to get better, and depending on how sick you are to start with, that process might be a bit tricky. Only for a person's own tolerance of what's going on. If you fully trusted this, you just say, okay, I'm going to feel crook for a little while, but then I'm going to get better, and that's what happens. But a lot of people get frightened when they start to feel crook. Oh, this stuff is causing problems. It's your body that's doing it.
And so then tell us about what your experience with the gel has been, because obviously the liquid, a lot of people take the liquid for systemic issues inside, but what have you now found with the gel? Because you've been able to use the gel as well in a number of ways.
So yeah, well, I certainly started using the gel a lot in the hospital, but I find it's fantastic if you cut yourself or anything. I've even got my girlfriend who's looking after me, who won't look at the rest of the products, but she got bitten by mice this morning and said, I'm going to have a shower and then I'm going to put the Renew 28 on.
And she's living with a GP who's had a miraculous experience.
Exactly.
So, you know, it happens in every quarter, doesn't it? We've got people who are blind and we've got people who just cannot be helped.
It's worked on I had a bit of chronic sort of tinea between my toes, and I started using the Renew 28 regularly on that. That's cleared up. I've started using it. I've got a bladder problem at the moment, which I was given some treatment for, but I'm putting a lot of Renew 28 around that area as well. And I actually haven't had the problem in the last 4 days, and I'm thinking, something's working. I think it's just burns, for instance. Now, Belinda's had a burn experience, but you know, if you get some...
I've had second-degree burns experience.
Anything like that. Anything that's inflammation, if it's on the surface, the Renew 28 will work. The gel will work. Have I missed anything?
No, excellent. It's a good start. So it is a first.
It's
it
a
becomes
first aid.
your first.
Absolutely.
Your one product.
You should have it in your handbag.
Yeah.
So any bite, any cut, anything.
Bruising, discomfort, anywhere.
Yeah. It'll work.
So what do you think about the notion that you can have one product that can revitalise your skin like a skincare product, and at the same time it can be used on any part of your body to help with inflammation, but also to reduce discomfort in
Oh,
hips,
that's the other thing, yes.
knees.
If you injure yourself, a joint or something like that, massaging the gel around the joint, that gives relief as well.
Mm.
It's virtually.
So it's a pain or discomfort reliever, as well as a skin improver.
Yeah, coming back to the
Revitaliser.
fact that all these things are due to inflammatory processes going on in the body, and ASEA is an anti-inflammatory process.
Mm.
Either topically or the gel's concentrated, and it's
Yes.
really powerful. And the liquid is doing this, creating balance in the body. Everybody should take it.
Yes, and I think that whole idea of the fact that we can
do all
use
the
it with
doctors in the
babies,
business.
that we can do it with we can use it with babies,
Yes.
as well as the elderly, is a powerful thing, isn't it? It's
Oh, it is.
anyone
I
can
mean,
benefit.
I was running this clinic where I had patients with cancer, and they're pretty sick, a lot of them. But we got a couple of them on to getting this and taking it. And although one of the ladies, she was a sweetie, she didn't survive. But her last weeks, the combination of the vitamin C and the ASEA were really, they were much more comfortable. So,
Because Dr.
Yeah, I
Gary Samuelson says, if you use enough of it and you have enough time, you can survive just about anything.
yes, yes.
And Dr. Rick Walker says, after 40 years in the emergency department dealing with all sorts of things, he just says if he would have had Renew or ASEA in that emergency department, he would have been able to save people that he couldn't with the procedures and the stitch-ups.
I keep on hearing about, infections in hospitals, and I think, oh my God, there's a simple way of dealing with that, not letting it happen. It's taking this and putting the gel on the surface.
Yeah.
Why? Anyway.
And
It's a lot cheaper than hospitalisation, toxic antibiotics for resistant infections, and of course this doesn't care about resistant infections.
it just goes through.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I know
So
we're not supposed to say it will do these things, but this is
That's right.
breaking the rules.
So as someone who has had that history, like you had been in general, like you've spent a lifetime really involved in, and you've seen a lot of unwell people in your 50 years as a GP and the blood bank and up there at Anderlane and everything that you've done. So how if people could embrace redox technology, how could you see the future of the wellness paradigm as opposed to the sickness?
Well, I
paradigm?
think it has the potential of doing a heck of a lot more to make the population well. And yet you listen to the research people and so they're trying to find a solution for this and a solution for that and a solution for the other. They've not really looked at this. And I think it's so simple but so powerful that it would make an enormous difference. Particularly if, getting onto it before you've got severe heart disease or corrosive arthritis or something like that. It can help these people, but it's not going to make them well in the same sense that you're trying to keep people well. It's about keeping people well. I think this has got enormous potential.
And preventatively too.
Yes.
As a preventative measure, it's definitely got a lot of potential, hasn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So they were just some of the questions I had there, and then I've got here just, I heard somebody say if I could go into hospital and have a bag of ASEA instead of all the other stuff they pump into me, I'd be able to even get out of hospital faster than staying there for extended periods.
Has anybody used it intravenously?
Yes. And plenty of people are using it in feeding pegs and all sorts of things.
Oh yeah, I don't have any problem with feeding pigs. But
Yes, intravenously,
Take
but
it,
we're not
take it
supposed
out.
to say anything about
No, I know, but I just wanted to
Let's say it is happening in pockets.
I'd be nervous about doing that, only because
Yeah.
it doesn't come out of a bottle. You can put the,
Yeah.
would need to have an attachment so that you didn't open up the bottle and expose it. Not that it'd probably get infected, but...
And, you know, Dr. Dick Walker...
And anybody who could take it, anything orally...
Yeah. And Dick Walker was splashing it over incisions and all sorts of things like that. Over open wounds.
Yeah, because every other hospital episode, except the first one when I had gastric stasis for 4 weeks, I've had a couple of bottles of ASEA in my drawer and been taking it all the time. So,
and then, so Margaret, I've had the same experience as you. I take my redox when I've been in for surgery and in hospitals. I just take my bottle and my tube with me, and I tell them that's it.
yeah.
So what do you say to those people who say, my doctor will not allow me to have that in the hospital? How do you counter that?
Well, especially when you get, I don't know, you know, there are these, particularly oncologists and people who deal with cancer, say any stimulation of the redox, oxidation, oxidative agents are dangerous. Well, that's not an oxidative agent. It's a balance agent, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's doing both.
Yeah.
But I don't know what you say. I think sometimes you just got to tell people about it and say, sneak it in. I had no trouble having a couple of bottles of that in my drawer. Didn't have to explain it to anyone.
I didn't have it in my drawer. I had it up on the top.
Yeah, well, I think I did that too.
Yeah.
The second time, but,
So,
I'm getting more.
so is it, what is it? Is it getting more brave? People need to get braver about taking back control of their own health.
Oh,
do you think?
yes.
Yeah. So you've got to take your own power back, particularly when you're in.
And to grow, you know, to grow up without, like I've got to the stage. I've had a severe cancer episode. I've not had any chemotherapy or systemic radiotherapy. The little problems I have had, they've been able to deal with it locally, and I've used the ASEA to facilitate my recovery after that. So no, none of those agents. And I'm not on any medication except the enzyme supplement because I had some of my pancreas removed. Not even ASEA will correct that. I don't think it'll make my pancreas grow back again. But that's a simple thing. That's just something I take with each meal.
Okay.
So, you know, at 74 years old, that's my regime. My medical regime is ASEA products. Now I've got all the life
Yes.
ASEA.
So probably just to finish off with, just with the new nutrients, these micronutrients that have just been introduced, we've got the source, the biome, and the life map.
And I was keen to wait for those because I
so
thought,
tell us why
I looked at the scientific process that they've done for ASEA, and I thought they are not going to put out anything that isn't rigorously tested, and also having the technology that enables it to be
carried around the
correct
body.
me if I'm wrong here, but you're not a scientist, but anyway. Having the technology to assist the nutrients, and they're all vegan and, you know,
They're not genetically
and all that,
modified.
not genetically modified, so they're all natural products. But they're also, I think, probably laced with technology that enables it to be absorbed really well. And you were describing how if you take a source capsule and take another supplement capsule, like you had turmeric, and put it in a glass of water, the source was broken down and dissipated within 5 minutes. The other one was still swelling up and sitting.
48 hours later.
Exactly.
So that tells you about the bioavailability to the body and about how it would just move into the body and do what it's meant to do.
That's right.
Yeah. So there's the power in those.
And I think having looked carefully at what's in each one of those, you don't need much else. So for me, I take a bit of vitamin D, an extra dose, because that's good for preventing cancer, and also some vitamin B12, I'm a bit low in that. There's not quite enough in that, but that's all. And I know people who've been on my journey and they've got a box of supplements like this. How do you keep up with it all?
Yeah. And so what you would say is we've got the redox products that are native to the body.
Yes.
And then we've got superior quality micronutritionals that are superior to anything else on the market, by the way, because of the technology.
Exactly, and then you've got the redox technology operating, so that all of these supplements, these that are compatible with that are also, this enables these to be utilised.
And they're actually whole food supplements.
I've never taken a supplement before these and actually felt a benefit within 48 hours of starting.
Because most supplements, people are on it for months and they just
You
say,
wonder whether
I don't even know if it's doing anything.
Exactly.
But you can actually notice the difference in your body function.
Yes.
Yeah, within 48
I
hours.
mean, I lost my handbag last week, which is a good story. On Tuesday, I lost my handbag with all my life in it because I've been moving around. And on Wednesday, that afternoon, the bus driver told me didn't have it on the bus, took me back to town, and I walked Brisbane.
To try and relocate.
I went to where it was, but then I thought I'd go to the bank to stop everything. I've got to go to and then somebody suggested I went to the Brisbane City office and to the police station. So all of these things to sort of notify them about the fact that they could be lost. I did 8,800 steps on my step counter on my phone. I couldn't have done that 2 weeks ago.
No way.
No.
How the universe works.
Hey?
It's amazing how the universe works.
Well, the wonderful thing about it was that...
That's because you're on the Life Max, isn't it?
Yes, yes. On Wednesday I got an email from my bank to say, give us a ring, we've got a number for you to collect your handbag. And what had happened was, it was on the bus, I don't know what the bus driver did, but it finished up at the depot and then came back to Brisbane, went to the Brisbane City office, where the lost property was. Fortunately, I already knew about that.
Yeah.
So I got myself all ready by this incredible walk around Brisbane on Tuesday. Anyway, the bank, they'd rung the bank, the Brisbane bank, because there was a card in there, because I'd seen it in the bank.
Gotcha.
But I'd never have been able to do that without, I think that's the right way. So I knew that was going to give me energy.
Yeah.
Because I've been taking salts for a little while. It got me up to feeling a bit better. And then you threw that on, and I was actually looking at another product made by another company, and I thought, no, wait and see, because I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I did.
Yes. It's made all the difference.
Much more powerful. Yeah. I have got other things. I'm just going to chuck them out. Simply, and stop spending all this money. We're spending a lot of money on a lot of things. It's not to say these aren't individually got a cost on them, but if you're not taking anything else, and you're just on ASEA plus these, and the Renew 28 and these, and if you want to look after your skin even well, now my skin's not bad for a 74-year-old, this other stuff's nice.
Yes, for the skincare.
That's a bit of a luxury.
Yeah.
But if you're, I'm going on a pension, I'm on a pension. Fortunately, I've got a little bit left over, but you know, it's not going to be as easy, although I'm going to start this new business from where I live, because as a doctor I couldn't really do it very actively. You can't run a business like this as a doctor, but as a normal, ordinary person I can. And I'm so passionate about it, I think I'll
Well, you're living proof.
I'm alive.
You're alive. Yeah. Yeah. So I'd like to thank Margaret for her just her you know, sharing and honesty, actually. So I'd like to thank Margaret for that, first of all. Can everyone just... And then, Margaret, are you happy just to answer a couple of questions, if anybody... We've got about 10 minutes.